Hey everybody, it's Nancy with Halo Wreaths. Today I'm here to show you guys how to make the perfect bow. First time, every time, okay? Not hard, simple, easy, and you're going to do this by hand. Don't need a bow maker. This is a very simple little trick I use, and let me show you what you're going to need. We're going to make three ribbons, okay? That's what you're going to need. So pick out your 3 ribbons that you like. And you'll start with your largest first and work your way down to your smallest. I am going to add a 4th on the top, and that's just going to be my top loop, okay? But that's, neither here nor there. You can do it if you want. You don't have to. Okay, so here we go. Let me get one more thing you'll need also. I use zip ties with mine, and in order to do it this way, to make this perfect loop, I want you to get 5 zip ties. Well, if you're only using 3 ribbons, then you'll need 4 zip ties. If you're using 4 ribbons, then you'll need 5 zip ties, so on and so forth. But I'm using the little small ones. You can use any size you want, doesn't matter. Those just happen to be some that I had nearby. So anyway, all right, let's get started. Okay, so here we go. I have picked out my 3 ribbons for my bow. I've got this gorgeous diagonal peach colored, it's peach and white diagonal, sort of looks like a plaid type deal. I have purple and white polka dots, and this is a double-faced turquoise and gold. I just thought this gold was so awesome, and it kind of goes with the peach color there. Isn't that neat? One other item you will need is something to attach it to your wreath or object with. I'm going to use just a pipe cleaner, chenille stem. You can use a zip tie if you want, but I like to use the chenille stems. They kind of work better. And then I'm going to make a 4th loop at the top. I'm going to use a 4th ribbon to make just one single loop at the top of my bow. Okay, now each section is going to have 3 loops. Okay, so let's take our first set, and we're not making a massive bow here. You can make massive bows this way, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just making a regular size bow. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dovetail the ribbon. Okay. Y'all bear with me. I've got a little wrist injury, and hopefully I can cut through this. Oh gosh, that's pretty hard. Okay. Now, we are going to start off with top tails. Generally, when you're making a bow, you start off with your bottom tails, right? In this instance, for this bow, we're going to start off with the top tail. So you want a top tail to be roughly about 5 or 6 inches long. Let me see. 1, 2, 6. About 5 inches long is how long I'm going to make mine. Okay? So go ahead and just measure out about 5 inches. Pinch it up. Okay? Now, just like you would with any other bow, you've got your pinch. Go ahead and flip. Okay? You do not need a bow maker to do this. You can do it by hand. Alright, so we've got our flip. And we're going to make this loop about 5 inches as well. So I can eyeball them. If you want to use your ruler or measuring tape, whatever you have down here beneath you, you can do that. So if I get it 17 down to 12, see, that's 5 inches. I just eyeballed it. Just that quick. Okay, so I made a 5-inch loop here. Gonna pinch it back together. Alright, so we've got 1 loop on this side, 1 tail on this side. Alright, now go ahead and twist your ribbon again so that the back is showing. Okay. And bring it around, make 1 more 5-inch loop. That looks to be about 5 inches to me. 13, 8, yep, that's about 5 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and pinch it together, and I'll show you real quickly how we can just check that to make sure they are even. Ooh, I let go. Don't do that. Okay, to check and make sure they're even, just grab both your loops, pull them up together like that. They're even. Okay, you can feel it, you can see it. All right, now this is going to be our last loop, because remember, these are going to be 3 loop bows. All right, so go ahead and put your twist on it for the last one, and make your last 5-inch loop. This side is going to have 2 loops. The other side has 1 loop. And that is correct. So y'all just follow along with me here, okay? And then you can just kind of lay these beside one another to measure them out and make sure they're about the same size. See that? They look the same size. Maybe a smidgen too big there. That's good. Okay, now we're not going to twist this time. This is going to be our bottom tail, okay? So we're going to bring it down. How long you want your bottom tail to be is totally up to you. Remember, our top tail is 5 inches, so I would suggest a bottom tail of about 10 inches. So let's see how long my board is. My board's 12 inches, so let's say 11 down to 1, that's 10 inches. So we'll cut it about right there. Okay. Ooh, I can't get it through. Okay, so what you do is you wind up with your 2 tails on the same side. In this case, in the video, on my left-hand side, I have 2 tails. I have a tail on the top, a tail on the bottom, and a single loop. And on the other side, I have 2 loops and no tails. Okay? So now, grab one of those little zip ties that you had. So you don't have to sit there and hold this the whole entire time that you're making your bows. You're going to take one of these. This is why using the small zip ties is going to be best for this part. Go ahead and wrap it up. Make sure you keep everything held together tightly until you get that zip tie on there. Tie it in together. Pull your zip tie around to the back. Okay, so all you can see in the front is just that flat, smooth surface. And get your zip tie tab straight into the back. Pull it as tight as you can. Okay, now you've got your 2 and 1. How about that? Okay. Now, that doesn't look like much yet, but it's going to be when we stack 3 of these on top of one another. Okay, so go ahead and cut your extra little zip tie tail off there. All right. And you can say, hey, I made that by hand. No bow maker needed. Okay. No need to fluff right now. You can do that at the end. I just have a habit of playing around with them. Okay, so now for our next loops, our next set of loops, our next ribbon, we're going to bring it in to about, these were 5 inches, so we're going to bring it down to about 4.5 inches. And my next color I was going to use is the purple and white polka dot. So this seems to be more of an off-white or an ivory, but that's okay. It's going to work. I'm planning on using this with some purple peonies. I think that will be so pretty in a spring bouquet. This does not have to be for Easter. It can be any season you want, really. This will work, right? Okay. All right, next up, the purple and white. Let's go ahead and, was that a fold right there? Can't really tell. All right, we're going to go ahead and dovetail this one. Okay. And just sort of gently drop your ribbon to the floor. It's okay, it's not going to hurt anything. Now, before we did our 5-inch tail and we started making our loops this way. Remember, we went this way with the first loop. This time we're going to go this way for the first loop. Okay, so you're going to alternate each time you start. But we're still going to start with the top. Alright, so I want this one to be about 5 inches. Still have those 5-inch tails for the top because those all need to be about the same size. Alright, so we've got roughly a 5-inch tail for the top. And we're going to twist our ribbon so that we can see the bottom. And this time, we're going to bring the ribbon to the left. The first time we brought it to the right. This time we're going to bring it to the left. Okay. Now, so we want to make a 5-inch loop. Nope, we want a 4.5-inch loop. So we're going to bring this one in a little bit smaller than it was the first time. Okay, let's see. 13. So to about 9.5. Let me bring that down a little bit more. 13. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. That looks good. Okay, so I made this loop about 4.5 inches. Pinch it together. Keep your little top loop or your top tail up there. Okay, you're going to flip, twist, just like you normally would. Okay. And same as before. Let's make a 4.5-inch loop on this side. Eyeball it if you can. Measure it out if you want to. Either way will work. Just make sure you make them the same size. Me, I'm going to kind of measure mine out like this. Yep, they're the same. Okay, very good. Now, so twist it up. Flip it over, whatever you want to call it. And make your second 4.5-inch loop on this side. Let's see. That looks about right. If not, we can always adjust it. I have silly kids cutting up in the next room, so hopefully I can hide that from this video. Anyway, alright, so now we've ended up with our tails on the other side. Remember, our first set of loops had the tails on the left side. This set of loops now has our tails on the right side. Okay, and that's exactly what we want. And we want to cut that off to be about a 10-inch tail. So at the top of that big polka dot there. Oh, y'all, I really have no strength to do this. Okay, now. Okay, so keeping it held together tightly, grab your zip tie. As for me, I'm using 4-inch zip ties, so I don't have a lot of bulk in this when I go to add them all together. Because obviously, yes, we're going to place all these together. We're going to stack them. Okay? So tighten it up there. Pull everything around where it goes. Get your top tail back up there where she goes. She's wanting to run away all over the place. Alright. Yeah. Adorable. I looked the other day for some purple ribbon and I thought, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for how long and I have no purple ribbon. I guess I've never used purple before. And the one purple wreath I did do, I didn't use any purple ribbon on it. I used pink and yellow. Anywho, I've got a couple of rolls now. My daughter bought me some, and I got some. So now we are done with the second row. Okay, we got our 10-inch tail and our 5-inch tail on top, although that looks a little bit shorter, but that's okay. It works. It works, okay? So we're just going to lay it to the side. Okay, next layer is going to be this gorgeous double-faced velvet teal. I said it says teal aqua, teal, whatever, it doesn't say what color it is. But, y'all know what I'm talking about. Now, with your double-faced ones like this, especially for two reasons, because it's so small, and because it is double-faced, I'm going to fold it so that you can see that pretty backing. Okay, I don't want to hide that. I want to bring it out and display it. Okay, so now we're going to just gently lay this down on the floor. And we're going to do this set of loops just like we did the first set, okay? So we're going to measure off about a 5-inch tail. So we're going to go right here. I might have did that last one a little too short. That's okay. It is not the end of the world. Okay, now we've got our top tail at 5 inches. We want to twist, and now this time we're going to bring our loop back this direction to the right. Okay, remember, each time you do this, you're going to alternate the direction of your loops. Okay, so we need a 4-inch loop now. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, that's right on the money right there. Okay, that's a 4-inch loop right here. Okay, so we got our 5-inch tail, our 4-inch loop. Let's twist it around and bring it on over and do another 4-inch loop on the opposite side. The more expensive your ribbon, the stiffer it generally tends to be. So, you know, when you start doing these small loops with expensive ribbon, it's a little harder to work with. Okay, let's see how long that one is. I'm going to pull these down to see. Yeah, that's even. Okay, so let's flip it over. Okay, and make our second loop on the right hand side, on my right hand side. I'm not sure how you're seeing it on screen. That's definitely the same size there. See that? Okay, pinch it up. Okay. And well, I'm trying to bring it down. And bring it down. Pinch it up, bring it down. Okay. Easier said than done. Okay, so next thing we want to do is what? What's our next step going to be? We're going to grab our zip tie. And note that both of our tails are on the left side. So, I guess I could cut my tail first, but that's okay. I want to go ahead and get this looped together so I don't drop it. It's kind of hard to hold on to, especially with one hand out of order. I'm not going to pull that all the way tight just yet because that one's kind of looking a little bit larger than the other two. Let's see. Pull that out some. Pull this one out some. Just want to make sure my loops are all the same size. There we go. That looks a little better. You can play with your loops before you pinch this zip tie too tight and make sure that they're all the same size. If you have one of these little tools, these zip tie tools, you can squeeze and pull them tight and it will cut them. I just use it to pull them tight. I don't cut them because it scares my dog. So, but I can at least use it to pull that zip tie as tight as I can get it. Okay. Which is still totally worth the money, right? I'm not going to scare my sweet little angel Maggie. Just for that. No way. Okay, and let's trim off our zip tie tail here. Boop. Just like that. Throw away your excess. And let's cut off a 10-inch tail here for the bottom. Alright. Actually, don't cut it at 10 inches. Let's cut it at about 11.5 inches. Glad I caught that. Because we want to roll it up, remember? I'm going to roll it one more time. Okay, now. Here we go. And the best way to shape your tail, take your two fingers, just like your fingers were scissors, and just pull like that. It'll give you a nice shape to your tails. Okay? Alright. Now, I'm doing a fourth one on the top. I'm just doing like a single loop for the top. So I'm going to show y'all how to do that. But if we were omitting that part, we would go ahead and stack these together. So let me show y'all how to do it with the extra loop on top. Okay, extra loop. I'll pick this one up off the floor. We'll roll it up in a minute. Okay, and then we just need a small loop for the center. These center tails don't have to be 10 inches long. That would leave us using, like 22 inches worth of ribbon, and we don't need that. But they can be about, I don't know, about that long. How long is that? That's about 9 inches. So, I'm just going to fold over 9 inches and cut it. Okay? Just like so. And I'm going to cut it on the diagonal. Okay, so you can see how I've cut it there. Since it's small, these smaller ribbons, cut those at a slant rather than trying to put a dovetail in them. They're just too little to do dovetails. Now, you want to make a little loop, just like that. Just a little loop. This is going to serve as your center loop, or mine for my ribbon. You don't have to do this, but for my ribbon, that's going to serve as my center loop. Now, the back loop, or the back leg of the loop, you want to twist, okay, so that you have both of them facing forward. So now, and yes, I'm going to put a zip tie on this. I know it seems kind of redundant, or not necessary, and it's really not necessary. If you wanted to go ahead and stack all these and then slap this on there, you could. But just for teaching purposes and keeping our hands freed up, I'm going to show y'all how to do this way. Okay, so let's just pull it tight. Make sure that big head of the zip tie stays in the back. Okay. Pull it good and tight. And trim off your little tail. Off your little loop. And then you have your two little tails like so for the front. And this is kind of looks more like an awareness ribbon, similar to an awareness ribbon. Okay, so let's look at our layers that we have now. We've got center loop, loop 1, loop 2, loop 3. And I see on loop 2 that I forgot to cut that little tail off. Where'd it go? Here it went. Alright, so I'm going to start working on this from the bottom up. Alright, so this is the bottom. This is the very first one we did. Remember the peach color? Go ahead and fluff out your loops, your three loops here. Spread them out. And make sure your tails are pulled down. Okay? Your tails are pulled up and down. Alright, now you're going to take your next set of loops, which is the purple and white. And remember, we alternated sides, right? So, we've got 2 here, 1 here. And since we alternated sides, this one's going to have 2 on this side and 1 on this side. Okay, so we've got our top tail. Line those tails up. The other thing I like about this is it enables you to see all of your ribbon throughout the entire bow. When you make a bow and you're just constantly stacking and stacking and stacking, you hide some of your bow. You hide some of your ribbon. This way, using this method, you can see all of your ribbon all the way through the bow. Okay? Alright. So that's row 1 and 2. And now let's go to the third one. Same thing. This one has 1 over here. So we're going to just feed it in there properly. Put our 1 between the 2 purple ones. And make sure our tails are up where they need to go. And we should have 2 on this side and 1 here. And see, we can also see the ones behind it because the blue ones are shorter. The peach ones are now longer. Even though there's 2 of both of them, we can still see everything, right? And that is pretty doggone awesome. Alright, so that's what your bow would look like. You could just finish it off now, just like this. But I'm going to add a center loop to tie this back piece back around to the front, okay? So I'm going to take my shiny side and I'm going to add it right to the top, okay? And basically what you're lining up are all these zip ties. So with this particular one, with the single loop, you'll have to pull both tails off to one side, but that's okay. You won't be able to tell once we get the ribbon all together. Now, if you look at it down this way from a cross section, you can see all of your little zip ties lined up together neatly in rows. Okay. This is where you want to take your bigger zip tie. Alright, like so. And you're going to connect all of these together. Make sure you keep them lined up nice and neatly. Don't let anything slide or wobble around or get crooked on you. Now, once you get this on here, tie it on loosely first. Don't tighten it all the way yet. Because, what do we have? We got to put our chenille stem in there. So we're going to feed that chenille stem right through here. And that chenille stem is going to be how we attach it to our wreath or our mailbox or whatever we're attaching it to. Okay, now we can go ahead and tighten it up. Just flip it back around one last time and make sure everything is all lined up as it should be. Okay? Sure everything's all nice and neat. Okay. Alright, here goes nothing. We're going to tighten her down. I'm going to use my little tool to tighten it without popping it. But at least I'll get it pulled good and tight. And you can tell when it's going to pop. So I just stop pulling right there. And I trim it off. Well, call myself trimming it off. Trim the one next to it. Okay. Now. Okay, and the bow is complete, y'all. Now I think what I want to do, because I used, let's fluff next. Let's take I'm going to hold it by the chenille stem. I'm going to flip it upside down, grab the chenille stem, and hold on to it. Okay, so let's start fluffing. Let's bring all of our bottom tails down to the bottom where they belong. That little center loop, we can kind of twist it around so it's setting up properly in the center. Okay, and fluff your loops on row 1. Bring down your bottom tails. And y'all are no strangers to this. Just fluff, fluff, fluff. You know how to do this. You got 2 here. Spread them out. Make sure the ones that have 2 are spread out evenly. 2, 1, 2. That looks perfect. And then over here you've got 1, 2, 1. So this was not hard at all to make. Now, one thing that you can do if you want to hide, so here's finished product. That's it. It took us, what, a few minutes to make this? Took us longer to cut everything than it did to make the ribbon. What you can do if you want, since you have a matching chenille stem on the back, you can take it and run it around. I like to take mine and just run it around from the bottom and the top. Run them around right through the center. Crisscross. Bring it back around to the back. Okay. And the reason I like to do that, you can hide that zip tie. You do not have to do this, and if you don't like the way it looks, you can change it back. But I'm just going to do mine this way for illustrative purposes for y'all. And then once you get it back to the back, just twist it up real good and tight. Ooh, I'm telling you what, I sure couldn't do a wreath right now. I can barely get through making this bow. See the orthopedic specialist tomorrow, thank goodness. Okay. Okay. So we've got everything covered and fluffed, and there's one last step that I see that I missed. Does anybody know what I missed? Wild guess, y'all. What did I miss? At the bottom, I didn't do my tails. So I need to dovetail my purple and white, if I can. Okay. Dovetail these two. And our gorgeous little bow is done. And you can say, oh yes ma'am, I made that bow by hand. because you know what? You did. You made it by hand. You can take this same concept and you can do 2 bows or you can do 10 bows. You can do a bow for the top of your Christmas tree, do a bow for your mailbox, you can do bows for gifts, any type of bow you can imagine. And the best part about it, really truly the best part, is that you can see every single ribbon. You don't feel like half of your ribbons are being hidden because of the stacked layering. Okay? And there we go, y'all. She's done. She's gorgeous. I love her. I know she's probably, for me, going to be going on a wreath that has some purple peonies, some purple, geez, I've got plenty of things I could put this on. But definitely going to draw out the purple in the bow. Okay? So y'all don't forget, if you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share this video and leave me a bow down in the comments to let me know you watched all the way through. Okay, guys. I will be back with more tips and tricks for y'all and more full bow tutorials. Y'all come back and join me again for my next tutorial with Halo Wreaths. Thanks for watching, everybody. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.